The topic here is a radio conversation on the Dallas police radio recording of Channel 1 that is a unique transmission in that it is initiated by a woman. Nowhere on any of the recordings that I have heard is there a woman's voice initiating a transmission. This is something that stands out and would serve very well as a signal, if it were a signal, because anyone listening who's listening for a signal and listening for a woman's voice is going to realize this is it. And that's what I think it is, because very shortly after this, with a pregnant pause just preceding it, is the call-in from the shooting on 10th Street by either Boley or Benavides on Car 10's radio. So I think this may be a signal that the shooting on 10th Street has occurred.
452.
452.
Have Unit 47 in the basement if somebody needs it.
10-4.
And I think here when the dispatcher responds with his 10-4, you can hear something a little tense in the 4, as if he realizes this is the signal that he's been waiting for. That is that the shooting has occurred on 10th Street.
452.
452.
Have Unit 47 in the basement if somebody needs it.
10-4.
So the uniqueness of this transmission and the dispatcher's apparent response in the intonation of his voice makes me suspicious that this is the signal that the shooting has occurred on 10th Street, and the purpose presumably would be not just to inform the dispatcher, but to inform anybody who's listening to the police radio who is aware that a signal will be coming. So anybody listening to the police radio who knows that the woman's message is going to be the signal for the shooting on 10th Street now knows that the shooting on 10th Street has occurred.
452.
452.
Have Unit 47 in the basement if somebody needs it.
10-4.
And it's about 34 seconds from the beginning of the woman's transmission until we hear either Boley or Benavides on Car 10's radio calling in about the shooting on 10th Street. So the way I see this is that someone has relayed a message to the woman, get on the radio and tell the dispatcher that 47 is in the basement if anybody needs him, or if somebody needs it, is what she actually says. And therefore that the shooting on 10th Street probably happened less than 1 minute before this transmission. So who is this woman? Well, we don't get a name on her ever, I don't think. But according to Dallas police documents, the range of numbers that is assigned, or her number is in a range that is assigned to supervisors and detectives assigned to the Juvenile Bureau. And they would probably want females in there included, because there probably are some bad girls out there that have to be dealt with. So that would make sense that she was in this Juvenile Bureau. So she's probably one of these 5 women here who are identified as police women in the Juvenile Bureau. Now, presumably, this woman is not in on the conspiracy and is just being used as an unwitting conduit. And so she thinks she's doing something that makes sense in a non-conspiratorial context. That is, saying that Unit 47 is in the basement if somebody needs it. She must think that means something that makes sense. So what would make sense? Well, usually a unit refers to somebody with a call number. Nobody ever says unit. For example, she doesn't say she's Unit 452, but Unit 452 would be her, and Unit 47 presumably would be a squad car not the squad car number, but the number assigned to the person in the squad car. So presumably what she's saying is 47, the guy who has that number, is in the basement. If anybody needs him, which is what it says in the text here, even though she says it. And by saying it, I think she might be revealing that she didn't talk to this person, that somebody told her to get on the radio and say this about Unit 47. So to her, Unit 47 is just it, not him. And if we look in the radio traffic, very shortly before this, there is a Unit 47, Patrolman W.F. Morris, who the dispatcher tells to go to a Signal 9 at 4916 Live Oak. And a Signal 9 is an investigation of theft. So 47 is sent presumably to a store, some retail outlet, to go investigate a theft. And presumably the message from the woman means that he has picked up the suspect and brought him back to the police station. Him or her. And presumably it would be a teenager. A teenage shoplifter, perhaps. And that would all make sense in the traffic, the radio traffic. And here on this modern Google map, I have marked out 4916 Live Oak in the upper right-hand corner. And down toward the lower left-hand corner, I've got the blue PD to represent the location of the police station. And so you can see, well, it's not terribly far away. It is a significant distance, and you would expect this to take a few minutes for 47 to get. Now, 47 might be very close to 4916 Live Oak already, but you would expect that it would be a few minutes before he's back with the suspect at the police station. But the trouble with this explanation is that 452 calls in 1 minute and 16 seconds after 47 was sent to 4196 Live Oak. So he could not possibly have had enough time to return with a prisoner. So this radio traffic actually does not make sense. It is impossible that 47 would be back already with the shoplifting suspect. But if we look back in the radio traffic 4 or 5 minutes earlier, the dispatcher had sent 45 to this Signal 9, to the same theft incident that 47 gets sent to. Now, if 45 had gone to the Signal 9, and then 452 had said that he was in the basement, if anyone needs him, that could make sense, because he would have had 4 or 5 minutes to get the prisoner and bring him back to the police station. But 45 never went to the Signal 9 because he encountered an accident on Live Oak before he got there, and he had to deal with the accident. Therefore, since 45 couldn't make it, the dispatcher had to send 47, and this is 4 minutes after he had sent 45. So we've lost 4 minutes in time for the officer being sent to the theft to get back to the police station. And if we look back a little earlier in the radio traffic, the dispatcher had told 45 to return to service just before he sent him to the Signal 9. So what I think this means is that there was a plan here. There was a plan to, I don't know how they were faking it, but on the day the president is killed, who's going to notice? In retrospect, there's a planned Signal 9 at 4916 Live Oak that the dispatcher is planning to send 45 to return to answer this call, and that he's planning, or they're planning, to have 45 be the unit who's in the basement when the shooting has occurred on 10th Street. However, because 45 had to stop at an accident, 47 was sent, but the message had already gone out for the shooting on 10th Street. So the shooting on 10th Street went off at the same time that they were going to do it, but What makes everything impossible, though, is that 47 was sent too late in order to have gone to answer the call and brought back a prisoner. The plan was to have 45 do that so that it would make sense in the radio traffic. But because 45 had to stop at the accident, now it doesn't make sense in the radio traffic. And it's all, I think it's all contrived in order to get the woman to come on the radio to make this announcement about 47, or originally 45, being in the basement, so that whoever's listening to the radio who's part of the conspiracy will know that the shooting on 10th Street has occurred. And that explains this radio traffic.
5, signal 9, 4916 live with manager's office, 112.
You get it, 45?
Hey.
Signal 9, manager's office, 4916 live.
45.
45.
There's a minor accident in the 5700 block of Live Oak. You want me to stay here and answer my call?
Handle accident, disregard live oak.
10-4.
47, signal 9, contact the manager, 4916 live oak, 116.
4916 live oak.
452.
452.
Have Unit 47 in the basement if somebody needs it.
10-4. Unit 6.
Hello, police operator.
Go ahead. Go ahead. The citizen using it.
Hello, we've had a shooting out here.
Where is it at? The citizen using police radio.
10th Street.
What location on 10th Street?
Between Marsalis and Buckley. It's a police officer. Somebody shot him. What's it? 404 10th Street.